Hey there, Alex here. Welcome to another episode on Sweet Spot Soul. I want to say thank you so much for being a subscriber and for being here, letting me share all my fun, crazy ideas and the things that I'm downloading and the things that I'm studying. And I wanted to give you a little bit of context around that and kind of give you a picture of what's coming, okay? Because I posted something a few days ago. I already had a hit when I recorded it to post last week, it was too much information. It was just too complex and I wasn't chunking it out enough. And I knew it, but I put it out anyway. And while those of you who follow my stuff and love all that stuff gave me really, really beautiful feedback, I did lose some subscribers, and I don't mind losing subscribers that don't necessarily love what I'm teaching. That's totally fine. Like, find the teacher you resonate with. But I knew that that was going to keep it from getting to more people, and that it was just, I went too far, and I just knew it. So I decided to go ahead and take it down. First, I made another video to try to explain it, and I'm like, this is silly. So I just took it down. So to answer your guys' questions that were asking, didn't you put a video up? Yes, I did. I'm so sorry about that. So I will be going through that content again in a much more digestible way. I hope it's still really, really, really cool quantum morphogenetics stuff. It's all about, first creation, and oh, it's fascinating, fascinating. And the reason why I share these things that I share with you is that when I was first coming into, balancing my union, it's like I was getting, like, there was that void period where I was in balance, feeling amazing, getting downloads, but like needing to continue to confirm to myself that this journey was a real thing, that I still wasn't crazy. Even though I wasn't longing for the twin at that point, it was like I just needed to come into that space of like, no, this really is a real thing. And what is really going on? And how do the mechanics work? And there was one other gal who I listened to a couple of times who was teaching, and shout out to the really good freaking teachers out there, other twin flame coaches. There's a few really good ones. And I just want to say, soul sisters, thank you for the work you do. Seriously, like, we can't do this alone. And part of what I'm going to be sharing when I get into the different levels of soul, or the different levels of yourself, right? The different harmonic universes, like, this is really, really important to understand, is that we really are all one. We're moving into unity consciousness, but how can we move into unity consciousness if we're seeing everything as separate, if we're not working together, if we're not understanding that we're all here interrelating with each other and sharing, ideas and codes, and we're helping each other to come back into wholeness. Like, it's freaking beautiful. So again, shout out to the other twin flame coaches out there, and people that are working along on this path, because it's not an easy calling, but it is a calling, right? It's like, it's part of the mission to serve the very community. So I had been listening to somebody who had tapped into some of the mechanical stuff, and I was just like, oh yeah, totally. Like, oh my gosh, that's how my brain works. And so I started digging into some things, and God was putting all this stuff in front of me, and it was just fascinating. And then the whole 12 strand DNA came along, and then the 12 code, and like the code of everything, like us and the cosmos and the planets, like everything. And it was like, oh, wow, this is the journey we're on. And so I want to share those pieces with you for this reason. Well, a couple of reasons. Number one, it's fascinating. It's really, really cool. Number two, it helps you to move into higher and higher reason, which is definitely, it's using the mind, but it's fascinating. And we still use the mind just because we don't have to, that's not where the balancing stuff is. It really is. We've got emotions and mental body that need to be, in this nice flow. But when you're in doubt, when you're in that void period for the twin, the 3D time, because there is a gap there. We can talk about that as well. In that gap, while the divine masculine, or the runner, is no longer running, but now has to face what they need to alchemize in their world in a different way than we did in the 3D, and then come to make the union real in the 3D, which is not your role as the divine feminine. You've got that void space. And so rather than when that doubt creeps up, because it just does sometimes, every once in a while, it's like, hey, wait a second, I've been feeling really amazing for a while. Like, where's the twin? Again, there goes the separation. As soon as you think it's outside, there's the doubt, there's the separation consciousness. So this, in a way, by learning all of these things, was keeping me in balance, knowing that we're one, showing me how we're one, and giving me something to validate and take the doubt away, to hold, almost like it was to hold me over. But it was also part of growing my consciousness, which is part of the whole journey. And you never stop on that journey. That's why I say I'm always on the journey. There's no stopping point. The goal is not the twin. The twin is like the greatest synchronicity of your alignment, right? So that's why I teach the things that I geek out on, and I get these downloads in the middle of the night, and then something will come across my path and I'm synthesizing the information. And I think it's fascinating. And I know a lot of you do too. You can drop me a thumbs up or a comment if you still do. So what I'm going to do moving forward is I'm going to really, really aim to do shorter, more succinct chunks to this stuff, because I get so freaking excited about it that I end up like a 30-minute video, and it's too much information. And it's definitely higher level in terms of like it's complex, and it's not needed along the journey to understand these things at all. It's just fascinating, and I think it's beautiful, and it's just beautiful. And for the reasons I just shared, I think it's very valuable at those certain points in the journey. And I will tell you, the people that are working with me, oh my God, my clients are the best. Like literally within just about, I would say 85% within 5 sessions are going into inner union, like full on, and can't believe it. Like after 5 years, actually, I just was working with one the other day, and she's just like, after 5 years of just this longing, just not being able to get this, it was just like, bam, it's just the first time having that relief. It's just incredible. And so the people that are coming to work with me are right, they're right there. It's like, it's perfect. It's absolutely perfect, because that's just kind of how things work. There's different people for different stages of your journey, right? And so I'm just trying to articulate a little bit where I feel that I fit into this. There's great information out there, like really, really great information. And there's a lot of really, really bad information. There's a lot of people that are in actually toxic relationships that are not twin flame relationships, that are getting sucked into the twin flame story and the label. And that's really not good. And so I want to try to dispel a little bit of that too. And have you feel like you can really identify what's going on. But at the same time, like I always say, at the end of the day, you coming back into you, whether you're on the twin flame journey or you're in a toxic, relationship with an avoidant, or, a narcissistic, highly narcissistic type, what have you, we'll address all that. That's not healthy, right? That's not healthy. Now, but your twin could also act extremely avoidant. I mean, that's what happens, right? You polarize, and that's what happens. So it's easy to mistake the two, but the journey is still the same. Coming into inner union, bringing your all of your focus back onto you, learning how to love yourself the way that you're trying to get that love from outside, and coming into inner union. Truly, that is the freedom that you're looking for no matter what is going on. And that's where we're all going anyways. It's just that we're so polarized in those two situations. So I'm going to be I'm going to be trying to teach, like I promised in the last video, and that I dropped in the video that I pulled. I will talk about the different levels of incarnations that we have of ourselves. We have multiple incarnations of us. We're only going to meet, if we even do, which is very rare, if we do meet our actual one twin flame. Yes, we are created in pairs in that way. We would only meet the one primary twin flame, but there's also all these other aspects. And so I want to show you what that looks like, so you have a sense of that. I want to show you a bigger picture to help you see the unity of all, because we're moving into a unity consciousness. It's almost like, yes, we move into the nonlinear consciousness, but it's understanding it still first from a high reason standpoint. They're literally right next to each other on the scale of consciousness, is that high wisdom reason and love, right? So the highest levels of nonlinear, the linear mind to nonlinear. Okay, it's like the difference between Freud and Carl Jung. Like one was 499, the other was 500. Changes everything, right? But having the two at the same time really, really can help you with your discernment, and with your own growth and your own consciousness moving up. So that's where I really like to play, is in that high reason area and in that nonlinear area, right in there. And that's why my clients, like I said, that are coming in are right there and jumping up into the nonlinear and into that union energy. It's beautiful. So learning how we're all one, how we are connected, how we have these soul families, right? Like I literally feel like my clients are a part of me, and and I'm a part of them. And we not only are clearing the distorted ways of seeing ourselves, but we're also sharing the codes, the twin flame codes, to rebuild the multidimensionality that is housed in the DNA, that's junk DNA, right? That's that we're building back up, which is what opens up our multidimensionality. All of that junk DNA, just because it's coded for proteins with the first three and the other strands are not, those are all about opening up the consciousness, the non-linear, the non-physical. And we share that together. It's the coolest thing. And so soul family, right? You've got, I guess some people call them soul tribe, right? Those people that just resonate with you because they're a part of you, literally. And then there's going to be the soul mates. And then there's going to be people who are considered incarnates. They're called incarnates or possible incarnates that haven't fully embodied any of their soul yet, right? And so there's that whole level. There's a lot of different levels. So I do want to talk about that and just kind of share that. It's really fascinating. And again, if you're on the journey, yes, one twin. There's only one. Yes, I 100% agree with that you would meet in any lifetime. But there are different levels that you could potentially meet the twin and have these parallel lives on different timelines that are happening all at the same time, because there really is no time. So those past lives that we see are actually happening right now too, and they're just different incarnations on different time vectors. And so I want to share that with you. I want you to like get that, because it's just the coolest information, and it helps you to kind of let go a little bit of the tight grip that we have on the one person that we think is separate from us. It really, really can help you to just relax into the journey a little bit more and understand, like, it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. It's hard. It is absolutely hard as well. So I 100% honor that, depending on where you're at. And this might be, you come back to this if you're still in that space where it's really, 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 really hard. And go back to some of my other videos as well, because I do have practical tips and whole sessions of how to transmute the energies when you're in that high dysregulated emotional state, and kind of the different stages. And then also don't forget to go over to my other channel, is under my name, Alex Sabatelli Rager. It should be on this somewhere on here. It's also linked in the description and also in this channel description, because I've got all the information there is also totally the same. I mean, it's not the same. It's different because it's not directed towards twins. All the twin conversation is here. Over there, it's for everyday people who are not on this journey, but yet there's still more to glean there, and it always comes out a little differently. And there's different aspects that I'm sharing over there. So make sure you subscribe over there as well. And so I think that's really what I wanted to say. So I'm going to be chunking out smaller bits of this higher level information, just to share, because I love it, and I hope you do. And then I'm going to also try to bring it to practical. Like, why is this valuable to know right now? Is there a practical tip around it, or something that I can learn about it? And how's this going to help me on my journey, right? But I've kind of given you like an overview of like what I'm doing here, like what I'm trying to do, and I'm trying to get better, a little tighter, and a little bit more of the practical, along with the conceptual, the abstract with something concrete. So I'm going to do my best to do that, because I just kind of let it flow, but I'll try to think ahead, to make sure that I get those practical points in. So something practical right now, just make sure that you subscribe, and go ahead and give me a comment if you like. I will get some more content out here right away. And I, again, want to thank you so much for just being here, and for being on the journey, just for being part of this whole community. Like, we are really, really like trudging like the front lines here in terms of consciousness and new templates for the new earth, and for relationship, and for doing our passion and doing what we're really called to do. I mean, yes, we're forced into it, but yet, oh my God, it's glorious, really, when you really embrace it and stop fighting it, and really work in your lane, right? So we'll continue to talk about all these different practical pieces. And if you are looking for help or support or anything, of course, you can go to sweetspotsoul.com. There's just a page there. It has a video of what I do, and how I can, just kind of help you with some of the work. I'm a hacker, and now I really consider myself a consciousness hacker as well. So if you want some help along to get into that inner union, it's my favorite thing to do. And it's an honor to work with you guys. So, all right. Thank you so much for your attention here today. And I'll have some more coming out. And yes, we will have that conversation about the different types of twins we might be able to encounter as a being that's individuating from source. So cool stuff. All right. Talk to you guys soon. Have a great rest of your day.